This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Now, in Nigeria, it's not just referred to as the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, it is referred to as the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. It is a day that is set aside every year to remember Nigerian soldiers who fought in the First and Second World War, as well as the Nigerian Civil Service, and to celebrate Nigerian soldiers who are still in service. Now, the world typically uses Armed Forces Remembrance Day to honor their fallen soldiers who gave their lives in the service of freedom and country. But Nigeria's Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day also commemorates the end of the Nigeria-Biafra War and celebrates the current men and women who are serving in the army. Now, joining the conversation this morning is retired Lieutenant Commander Ibrahim Baba Ina. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning, and happy Armed Forces Remembrance Celebration. Happy Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. Thank you.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to start by saying thank you very much for your service to Nigeria.
Thank you. Well, we have the service goes to those that have paid the supreme price for our dear nation, Nigeria, from the First World War, Second World War, and the Civil War, and those that are still paying the supreme price in all the theater of war around the country. Yes, will I say conflict. So the armed forces really has been giving a lot to the unity of Nigeria, and a lot has been done. So we just have to celebrate them for their selfless service and sacrifice for our dear nation, Nigeria.
Right. So to start out talking about this particular this celebration, what does Armed Forces Remembrance Day look like across Nigeria and the rest of, well, I guess every state in Nigeria is marking Armed Forces Remembrance Day today, but what does that celebration look like from the standpoint of somebody in the army?
So it's the beauty about it. Before now, it was all about Armed Forces Remembrance Day, but this last year, it was changed to become Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. Before now, it was all about honoring the veterans that have passed away or the veterans that have served the nation. But this time, they are celebrating those also serving presently. So that's why it's a little bit different from previous years that's been happening. So for those that are still serving, it's really a day to honor them, to respect them, and that's why today, in all the states, I'm sure it will take place at the Senator, every part of Nigeria today. They are going to lay the wreath to the unknown soldier and to those who have paid the supreme price. For the average soldier, or will I say personnel, it's not only about the soldiers, it's also all the three services, the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. It's a day of, will I say, remembrance, and at the same time, a day of joy that this day has been set aside to celebrate them for their sacrifices, because a lot is being done. This sacrifice is not for the soldiers alone, it's also for their families, yes, because it takes a lot. Those that have not been at home for a while, those that lose limbs, those that have lost lives, those that have, it really shatters family, what they are really going. So today is a day that is being honored for them, for the military and the armed forces.
So if we looked at Nigeria's history as a nation, and this is an estimate in terms of numbers, we have lost at least 100,000 soldiers since Nigeria became an independent nation, running from the Civil War in 1967 to conflicts that started in 2015 up to 2020. And more recently, we've seen Nigerian military personnel killed in action while fighting on Nigerian soil against insurgents. And I would like you to explain what this really is. What would drive an individual to put on a uniform and stand for country, especially when what you are standing against is something that you know has a very high possibility or probability of taking your life?
So we'll say patriotism. Some people have to lay their lives for this nation. to move, for this nation, for people to be able to sleep and go around doing their normal daily activities. And that's where it comes up. Yes, we have our little resentment here, there, but it's patriotism for the country. And it's been ongoing for a long time that there are people there, men and women, putting their lives on the line to ensure that Nigeria is safe, people are safe, people can go around to do their businesses well and in a peaceful manner. So it takes a lot, really, for people to stand up and say they believe in Nigeria, they believe in a cause, they believe in what they are to do. And I'll still leave it down to patriotism for your country. Because it's not easy for someone to stand up and just sacrifice his life. I don't want to believe you meet somebody on the road now, are you ready to die for Nigeria? They won't really understand that. But for the men and women wearing these uniforms around the country, it's a form of patriotism for them, and it's the love for the country that really drives people to do this.
So I think one area that, and I do apologize, it's a bit of a touchy issue as far as I've seen so far. But one thing that we can tell from these sort of, from I guess essentially any job really comes with its own stress. But in a situation where your job demands that you take decisions per minute on whether to take a life or save a life, or to kill or to not kill. It does leave some scars afterwards. And I wonder if you can speak to us regarding the effects of this job on the soldiers, the men and the women who continue to wear the uniform, as well as giving us an idea on how we can start to address some of the things that come with doing the work of being a soldier.
PTSD is real. PTSD is real. Our soldiers to suffer it. Some months ago, we had issues of our soldiers coming back home, killing one or two colleagues at the war, at the insurgency front or any of these theater of operations. They just take their rifle and start. They just go irrational, and it's all about PTSD. What they've seen, what they've encountered, what they've witnessed that has really touched something up there. The best we can do for them mostly is counseling, talking to them, and that's what has really changed, unlike in the past. There's a lot of trauma, and there's a lot that has been done in respect of trauma, counseling. When they get back from the theater of operations, there's a lot done to diffuse the situation that they've been through. So PTSD is very real. We face it, just that we have our African mentality that we don't want to show any form of weakness. But it's really causing a lot of stress within us in the armed forces. And that's why the trauma center is there. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. It won't be out there in the media, but a lot is happening with those who come back from any theater of operation. And the beauty about it, the rules of engagement, a lot is being done to ensure that personnel follow the rules of engagement, how to either return fire or at the same time, how to really appreciate any situation before they can act. But PTSD is real, and a lot is being done behind the scenes to ensure that our personnel get the proper care they need after living such situations or scenarios that they found themselves in.
Well, it's definitely something that needs a bit more work done on it because, as you've pointed out, we have seen the effects of PTSD.
Yes, it is.
Lieutenant Commander, as we round off this conversation this morning, I wonder if you can speak to what we need to start doing as a nation to help our military, continue to be the best possible military for Nigeria. And I'm talking if there is a point where civilians and the military can come together to ensure that this unit, which always draws from the civilians, continues to work in the best interest of every Nigerian.
Yes, so it's a two-way thing. There's this campaign, Thank a Soldier. We can do that. And also, I want people to be able to see the military that they are there doing a service. Because when we started this discussion about them sacrificing their lives, a lot have sacrificed their lives. I've lost a lot of colleagues. I've lost a lot of friends, people I trained with for more than 20 years from the military school, defense academy, brothers that have gone to the theater of operation and were either killed by IEDs or or enemy fire or adversary fire. A lot I'm aware of have died that way. So it's really the military too has to show commitment. Let people there see that the job they are doing is about Nigerians, and Nigerians will respect that the more they see that. The military, mostly we don't want that appraise or stuff. We just know that we are doing a duty for our nation, and we hope more people will buy into and see that what the military is doing is for the betterment of the nation. So the military will keep on doing its own best. I know it's a job not for the easy-hearted person to go out there and sacrifice his life for the nation. But it's all about patriotism for the nation, and the beauty about the reforms happening in the military through the Chief of Defense Staff, General Musa. A lot has been happening that Nigerians will continue to believe in their military, that they are here to serve them and give them the best of what the nation deserves.
Thank you so much for your service to Nigeria, and thank you so much for your time on this conversation.
Thank you. So please, let's get our Remembrance Day badge and wear it to honor these, our selfless personnel and the sacrifices they've borne for our nation, Nigeria. Thank you.
Very well, sir. Retired Lieutenant Commander Ibrahim Baba Ina is a former member of the Nigerian military, and he joined us this morning on Now Breakfast to speak on the Armed Forces Remembrance, the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day, which in Nigeria is marked on the 15th of January every year.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.